said, okay, Gelie, tell me about yourself. And Gelie said,
Well, before Gelie said, I'm sitting there with Francine, and I know Francine meets a lot of people on a daily basis, weekly basis, and I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be different. So I'm sitting across from her, and I'm like, how do I connect with her, right? Which is the basic concept of networking, is just when you can find that connection with somebody else. And I decided that instead of telling her about what I'm trying to do professionally at the moment, I was just going to let her know who Gelie is. And I started my journey by telling her that my family and I were refugees from the former Soviet Union, and we came here in 1989. And as soon as I said that, she was like, really? I mean, I could just see her leaning in.
Totally blown away. I never met a person who was a refugee from the former Soviet Union, and I was completely excited to know more.
So, and that was the start of the relationship, and then the conversation just went really smoothly from there, and I saw she was interested, and then when I felt it was safe, I ventured into okay, well, here's why, I'm really here to kind of pick your brain about what it is I'm trying to do with my career. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, I'll keep going.
I've talked a lot today.
So, basically, it was not even 4 years ago that I had a corporate day job. I was doing internal employee communications for JP Morgan Chase, and it was my dream job that I went to school for. It's what I got educated for, and it was my second job out of college. I remember walking in there the first day, and it was just not me. And so I lasted there for 2 years and 3 months, and at that point, I also realized that I am such a hard worker, but I am a horrible employee. I could not wake up on somebody else's schedule, and so not just wake up, but I mean just do things on other people's schedules. Just it wasn't me. So I said to myself, well, Gelie, I talk to myself in third person a lot, then hire yourself. If what you really want to do revolves around your business or your, just how you want to live your life, then hire yourself. And this is where my journey began. I'm trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do. And as so many people here said today, passion. You have to be passionate about what you do. So the next question to myself was, what am I passionate about? And I had no idea. Well, not that I didn't have any idea, but how do you make money at your passions? I mean, I like to play racquetball. I don't know how to make money at that. So I decided I would go to networking events and talk to people to see how other people make a living with their passions. And this is where I met Francine, because this is what she helps people with.
So I said to Gelie, I think you can make money at this because I know somebody else who does. And then I listened to what she wanted to do, and I said, like I always do, I'll try to help as best I can. And then Gelie took it from there. And I would say that the next thing I knew, there was a website, and the next thing I knew, there were events. And now, what are your statistics?
So just a very quick recap and wrap up, because I don't know if everybody's familiar with networkingphoenix.com. But eventually, I ended up launching a website called networkingphoenix.com. It was 3 years ago. October 1st is when we actually launched that brand. At the core of our site is a calendar where we list and promote all the different business networking events in town in this one calendar. We have about 600 events that we list on a monthly basis. As of right now, we have almost 19,000 members, and that number grows by approximately 500 monthly. The membership is free. It's like a LinkedIn profile. 4 times a year, we host our own signature event, and we attract anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 local entrepreneurs, professionals, people looking for jobs. I mean, the umbrella is just professional networking, and they all come to meet people.
And you can see why this fits into my collaboration platform here, where we all have to work together. So I'm finding it hard sitting up here on this podium communicating the enthusiasm, the personal enthusiasm and warmth that I felt for Gelie, and how cool I thought she was, and how great it was to work with a woman who wanted to be an entrepreneur, and wanted to be an entrepreneur in a socially productive way, in a field that I also thought was important.
So, no, thank you. To hear that come from Francine, I'm just humbled. I can't stop smiling, so thank you.
So tell more about, I mean, Gelie has gone further, faster than anyone would have ever expected. I mean, it really is incredible how this has caught on. Now tell about your website and who built it and how you did that part.
Absolutely. So I will talk about the website and that. I know the first question people always ask me, so I just want to address this first, and I'm sure many of you are thinking this. So how does she actually make money, and does she? Because everybody asks me that. So like I said, initial membership is free. You create a free profile, and then we have, so it's the freemium model, and then we have the optional paid membership. The paid membership is $10 a month, or we have an annual for $99, and what that gets you is a networking passport into other organizations' events, either for free, most of them are free, or at a high discount. You were talking, anywhere between 50 to, obviously, 100%. And so somebody that's an avid networker, you could actually save a lot of money. So what I do, well, what our team has done is we've negotiated deals with different organizations in town, different chambers, different educational seminars. So we have about 40 to 50 events monthly that our paid members can attend with this passport. So our goal was to create something low cost but high volume. So I have almost 19,000 members to sell this membership to. And, it's interesting enough, I'm going to go into your question of who built our site, where did I get these resources? Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, but I am married to a software engineer, and I recruited him to help me build my very first website, and he still obviously works on the site. But it's not necessarily something I would recommend to every couple because.
I wanted to get to that part.
Yeah, and we can talk about that in detail as well. But so having him as a resource obviously has been great. I mean, that was part of the reason why we haven't had to get funding, and everything we've done so far we've been just cash flowing since very early stages. And I find I meet people daily who have known me for years, and they're like, so Gelie, are you making money yet? And I'm like, I've been making money since we met, but I don't know. Maybe people think I do this just for fun.
Well, I think that professional networking is something that people don't usually think of as something that can make money.
Right.
But see, this is why I love the idea and why I love Gelie, and I just have to admit that I love Gelie. That the reason I think it's so cool is because it grows the pie for everybody. It grows the pie for the people who participate in the networking events. It grows the pie for the other organizations that have events that get new people to come to those events. It grows the pie for Gelie and her husband, and it grows the pie, really, for Arizona. So to me, it's like, I know people don't really think of professional networking as a social venture, but to me, it's a social venture because it actually has, three purposes. And I think that's awesome. That's my favorite kind of business.
Thank you. I honestly started this just because I was so passionate about networking, and I thought when I came up with the calendar idea of putting networking about something, I thought that's so cool because we don't have it. It was just solving a problem. It's really all it was, and I tell people I really did not reinvent the wheel. I mean, it's a calendar, but it was just a need I saw in the market as I was networking, and I couldn't keep track of my own events.
And also a certain entrepreneurial personality type. You look at somebody whose family escaped from Russia, and you say to yourself, they're going to succeed because they already succeeded. They already got here. They already have had an enormous achievement. So they are obviously the people who have the power and the passion to go on and achieve again. So now what are your expansion plans?
So what we're doing now is, networkingphoenix.com is our prototype. Obviously, we're testing with it. I mean, I still don't have any of the answers, and or a lot of the answers. We're 3 years old, but what we want to do is get it as close to, perfect as possible, and it'll never be perfect. I understand that, but and then once it's ready, we do have plans to expand. So my vision has always been to take this and drop it into different cities. So networking San Diego, networking San Jose, just, take it and expand it as far as I can expand it. And I don't know what that looks like. Like I mentioned before, we don't have any funding. We cash flow. And with our cash flow, we finally just got a real office for our 3rd anniversary. It's very exciting. I do, thank you.
Exactly.
And I love what, the presentation, oh, there's my site, yes. The presentation before this where, they were talking about the collaboration. That was my biggest thing, is I said, I want an office where we can all see each other, and that's exactly what it's a big, giant, just square, and all it is we're just looking at each other all day long. And I walked into the office, it came furnished, I said, I want this one, because collaboration is so huge. So we have people that work with us. I have 2 full-time people, and then we have different contractors, because that's the other question, is how big is your team? So like I said, we run the office, we have a team, so I've got payroll, I've got expenses. So just to give you an idea, that we are truly cash flowing, and it's possible.
Okay, so let's take that back to this morning's panel on women angels and women-owned businesses and women investing in women. I think there is a difference between the way a woman starts and runs a business and looks at growth and the way a man does, because I see in Gelie her urge to get it perfect before she expands. Remember, it's not that she doesn't have a vision to expand it. It's not that she doesn't want to do something fantastic, but she's not going to race into it, and she's not necessarily going to go out and fundraise, and she's going to look at it from the long view. And it's very interesting, because I do think that's a woman's perspective. Care to comment?
I wouldn't know otherwise. I've done a few interviews now, and one of the questions they always ask me is, tell us about your first entrepreneurial venture. And I'm like, well, this is it. I don't know. I used to sell hemp necklaces in high school. I don't know if that counts, But this is really my first go-around. I've never envisioned myself as an entrepreneur back when I was in college. I mean, I never took a single business class. And, for a while there, I thought it was a hindrance to me. But in retrospect, I think if I knew what I was getting myself into, I probably wouldn't have done it. Because,
I'm pretty sure you asked me that question, should I go back to school and take business classes?
Did I?
And I said no, because I'm really not a believer.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I couldn't tell you one way or the other, because I have no, I don't know. For me, I really, truly was following my passion, but the thing is, you can't, there comes a time where you're like, great, the passion is a hobby, but if you really want to turn it into a business, I think you have to get more serious about it. And this is where I was trying different business models, and the passport one came along, and I thought it was a great idea. It's unique, and it solves a problem, because I asked myself a question. I was that networker on the street. I was the one going to all these different events. I mean, I would go to events morning, lunch, evening, sometimes 3 to 4 a day, and I asked myself, what is it that I wanted when I was networking? Easy. I didn't want to pay for those events. They're so expensive. I mean, I don't know how many of you here network, but they range anywhere from $5 to $75.
Well, people paid for this day, and this day was $150.
Well, but this is more than just a networking event. I'm talking about like a lunch, or something that's just a few hours, and you never know whose table you're going to sit at. So that's just how I came up with that idea. Is I don't want to pay for anything. So I don't know.
Well, there was a pain that you had that a lot of other people also had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We discussed what kinds of business models for Gelie's expansion.
Yep.
Was it a couple of weeks ago?
It was a couple of weeks
ago. It was a couple of months ago. But
yeah.
We were talking about Gelie's expansion. What kind of business model would she expand through? And, well, go ahead. You talk about it.
Oh, well, I'm in one of those places right now where we've experienced success and growth, and it's just a never-ending learning process. You never stop learning. I have no idea what it is, or I shouldn't say I have no idea, but I have a vision, but I'm not quite sure what the best route there is. So I have to just explore different options. So what I did was I reached out back to my network, and I said, okay, I'm thinking of expanding. I'd like to talk to you, and I would like you to potentially introduce me to somebody that you might think could benefit, or I could benefit from talking to them. I'll tell you what my challenge is. My challenge is finding mentors or people to brainstorm with. I feel because our business concept is a bit unique, right? Because it's kind of a hybrid. It's half social media, but half face-to-face. And when I tell people I have an online calendar called networkingphoenix.com, they're like, oh, you're a small business. That's cute. Like when I go to these national conferences, I mean, I went to my first national conference, and I remember telling the first person about my business, and the guy was like, okay, and then why are you here again? It was really weird, and this is where I was like, I cannot say networkingphoenix.com when I'm at a national place. I've got to come up with something else. I haven't come up with it yet, though. But so what I was saying is, it's difficult for me to.
We need to give Gelie an elevator pitch. Everybody think.
Yes, exactly what the elevator pitch be. But so the challenge is, as I was saying, is just figuring out how to expand and how to do it properly. Because I'm trying to. I want to see what other people in my situation have done, something similar, and there's very few companies that are actually similar to what we've done, and a lot of them are, they don't make money, which is fine, because a lot of them are still startups, but they haven't been even out long enough to see a proven record, right? Because we're in this kind of social media phase where we're creating these groups and creating a big following, but not everybody has figured out the exact formula of how you make money with that. So this is kind of my challenge, and this is where I am now and trying to figure it out.
Well, and I think Gelie's other challenge, and I've already told her this, so I might as well tell it to her publicly, is not diluting her brand. The reason people really like Networking Phoenix is because it's high quality, and it has a good brand. And if she expands, and let's just say, one of the things we talked about, and in my case anyway, discarded, I don't know if you discarded it, but mentally I discarded it, was franchising, because you just don't know if you expand and you do it through franchising, you basically run the risk of either diluting your brand or having to spend all your time supporting your franchisees to preserve your brand. So, pardon? Well, it does give up the ownership, but you're going to have to do that. To expand at some point, you have to give up some ownership. The point is to expand and keep the quality, and that's everybody's problem. It's not just yours. We have a 2-minute warning. Wrap up.
Okay. Oh, all right. Well, so I mean, I'm not quite sure where else to go from here, but that's basically my story. And can we take questions? Maybe
sure,
somebody has questions.
Take questions.
Yes, back there.
Yes, you. Well, we have to wrap up. So
the question is, I think the question is, where are you expanding next, and how do you pick those cities? Okay. Well, I've always wanted to have a condo in San Diego on the beach, so no, I'm just kidding. Actually, no, but truly, though, I'm trying to stick to somewhere close to me so I can fly there very quickly. I can drive there if I need to. Plus, I think, so the Southwest region, I mean, San Diego, I feel is a similar market to Phoenix, perhaps a few cities in Colorado. I've researched different communities and seen where networking is happening there, right? So you can just kind of go and look and see what's happening. And one of the other things I've done is I took the business journal, and I just looked at the map of all the places where they have a business journal, and I was like, well, there must be business networking happening in these cities. So those are just 2 things I've done. But
thank you. Thank you, Gelie.
Thank you.